Okay, so I've basically been exhibiting a 1960 vintage Racal receiver, which is multi-functional, multi-user. An awful lot of equipment. It required a rack to be fitted in. Each independent part is tens of kilos, so you can imagine the sort of weight that it took up on any particular site, and not to mention weight, but the space as well. One of the improvements, obviously, was moving from thermonics to semiconductor receiver in the late 60s, early 70s. And I just want to show you how Racal progressed through about 3 decades of receivers. For this, I'll just take the camera off the stand. So here we have the 117, the Racal 117, with all its bits and pieces to turn it into a multi-mode, multi-function receiver. As the years progressed, the VRF adapter above it, the pre-selector, the first thing that Racal had a bash at producing was a transistorized set here. Now this is what we'll call a Racal RA117. There was a 6217, I think, in the US, which some of the Americans may be more familiar with. It's a nice receiver, actually. It's only 2U high. It actually embodies single sideband already, so there's no external adapter. You did need a VLF external adapter for this receiver to be able to receive into those bands. But primarily, it had a lot of good things going for it. The big letdown on the receiver was its ability to handle strong signals. This particular receiver is actually still tuned to 8867, and we'll put it onto manual AGC. There's a little pre-selector on here, which is quite peaky. It allows it to basically just focus again on a particular part of the band, but primarily because the transistor front end on these receivers is quite a low intercept performance. Having said that, though, the AM, what would you call it, recovery is absolutely superb. In fact, it's the best AM receiver I think I've probably ever heard. It is slightly wide, I have to admit, but wide with quite steep skirts. I'll just show you the signal coming in from this is not even tuned in. Here we go. That's the signal coming in from New Zealand. Full audio, beautiful flat performance, right out to the band edges. You can have this running all day and all night on this channel. It's a little bit dropping off this time of evening, but fundamentally it's an absolutely awesome audio recovery on this particular receiver. Anyway, I intended just to give you a bit of a look at some of these receivers. Let me just turn the audio down on that. After the RA1217, what came next was something called an RA1772. Now I did another video on this just standalone, but the interesting thing is you can see some of the heritage here. The tuning knobs are the same, the switching assembly is the same. In fact, there was a version of the RA1217 with a Nixie tube display, which made it about 4U high, and that had something called a Racalator on the top. It wasn't that popular. There was a lot of noise and hash from the basic second VFO synthesizer, but the 1772, I would say, actually scotched the lot. It was a terrific receiver, bomb-proof front end, beautiful silky smooth tuning around, no problems at all. Again, we could go to our famous 9700 frequency here. I could put it to slow tune, AM. There's the output there. Again, it's a very nice audio, but not quite as nice as the one below. So that's coming in from a couple of thousand miles away. Racal RA7072. Let me just turn the audio down a little bit on this. And the final series of receivers, which really embodied what everything Racal was about, is this receiver, the RA6790. American, basically designed over in, I can't think where it was called, where it was now, Marrickville or somewhere. Lovely receiver, very functional, very straightforward in a lot of ways. In fact, again, I'll switch this one. Whoop. As you can hear, it's tuned to WWV, and I'll just dial in. Hit the right frequency there because I don't hear anything. 0970. Oh, there we go. Not sure what's going on there. Sometimes they do drop carrier. But again, it's quite a nice audio output. And this has the 20 kilohertz bandwidth, 8, 3, up to 8. So that is the Racal RA117. It's a particularly nice receiver. I do enjoy running that, and the 1772. Each has their strengths and weaknesses, of course. But the whole Racal setup here is very nice to use. Now you're wondering probably how I'm connecting all these to the external antenna system. Well, above the whole line to the top of the rack is the Stancom multi-coupler, which gives me actually up to 16 outputs, very low noise, very high isolation, professional unit, and that allows me to do actually a lot of comparative measurements just to see how they are off air. And to be honest, they're all within a couple of dB, I would say, we're looking at here. Very nice receivers. I'll just come back and pan that through them all there so you can see them all to the best of their world. So the Racal lineup of receivers, interesting to see historically, we're going from fundamentally 1960s through to the 1970s, through to the 1980s, and if I had a Racal 3900 or 3700, that would be at the top of the rack too. So those are the Racal receivers I have here.